Since Under Night finally made the main stage at EVO, I wanted to put together a character study guide for my favorite character of the series, Seth. Essentially, what I'm going to be going over in this guide is showing off his normals, range, things like that, his special moves, the practical applications of them, his supers, and just trying to, throw out a guide for newer players who are interested in the game, how to kind of put their play style in him and play the game with him the way that they want to play it, while still being able to be successful and knowledgeable about the character and all of his abilities. Now I'm showing off the dash normals just because newer players may not be familiar that they have different uses than their normal counterparts. As you can see, the dash B does a double hit, pop up, knock away sort of hit. Dash C normal is very important in combos. You can see it does a little bit less than half screen and gives a wall bounce near the end of it. So I just kind of wanted to go over the jump normals, even though some of them are pretty basic. I feel like they're kind of underutilized in the game for lower level characters. Of course, his jumping A is a bit regular. It'll whiff on crouching opponents if used too early, only on late, but it's still a fairly good button with a downward trajectory. Paying close attention to his jump B, it actually hits in two directions, which is important for cross-ups. A little application that I like using is something like this. It was like a fake cross-up. So his jump C is a more downward hitting button. You can hit opponents fairly early, and it crosses up as well, just like your jump B, and of course it does more damage. So at this point, you're probably pressing A, but I wanted to show you a difference between jump A and jump to C. So jump to C is a dive kick, but it also gives you like an extra jump, and even on block, like if it hits the opponent or if the opponent blocks the attack, you still get that jump back, which can function as sort of a double jump, and you still retain all your different air movements and your specials and whatnot. It's not really something I see too much of in game for lower level players, so I just kind of wanted to point out that's an option that's underutilized. So Seth is one of the higher mobility characters in Under Night, and as you can see, he retains the ability to do a lot of jumps in the air. Like he's got a back dash and his forward dash, and he also has his fast fall. So you can kind of, throw a whole bunch of stuff together and just trying to, fake out your opponent and keep them guessing. I like using a fast fall button just because I play on pad, so it makes things easier for my combos, and it works almost instantaneously, as you can see. It also works as a forward dash and back dash button, so it has many uses, especially for someone like me who comes from fighters, and I use the R2 button as a forward air dash for the IAD. This is just an option that you have to put out there in case you wanted to use it. Something else I'd like to note: eventually, when you start getting confident in your Seth abilities, you're going to be using his fast fall forward kick button, and this button, the fast fall button or the dash button, also works for that too. It'll read the input just as the forward kick, so you can kind of slide your finger forward while holding R2, which is what I do. Like I kind of do a Shoryuken motion in the air, and it still gives me that fast fall forward kick. So his Tooth's attack, you'll see his A and B versions are essentially the same on ground. One goes out to the torso, one goes to the feet, but they both do the same damage, have the same properties on the ground. But in the air, they're used quite differently for combos. orbs actually function uncharacteristically as opposed to most fireballs in most fighting video games. After placing them, if Seth takes a hit, they actually disappear. And this is actually true for the orb itself. If you were to place an orb and it was to be attacked, the orb will actually disappear. Like if Seth or the orb gets touched, it'll disappear. So that's just something to be cognizant of. So the super version of his orbs, 4 hits, they're safe on Seth being hit, but they will disappear if they're hit, just like the regular version of his orbs. And using Seth's charge technique will increase the damage and startup speed and distance of them. And speaking of the technique, I'll speak on that a little bit more. The charge function that Seth has, which will increase the damage and also increase or decrease the startup speed. So using his 623 button combination or his Shoryuken Motion, it's more of a forward dash, and depending on which version you use, the light version or the A version, it's just a simple strike, horizontal movement. But the B version will actually pop your opponent up in the air for a combo, so and it's a practical application of what you can get off of using it from, that far away. Now his 214 or reverse Hadouken motion is really strange because it doesn't actually have a super version. So the A version you'll see is a horizontal shadowy movement. If you don't hold the button, it'll just dash through your opponent simply. But if you hold the button, you'll notice that it does sort of a flashy motion, which will do nothing unless your opponent is in hit stun. So you actually have to combo into it for anything to happen with it. As you can see, the A version just kind of hits your opponent, nothing special. But when you start moving on to the different versions is when you'll start increasing your combo ability. The B version is a simple shadow jump if you don't hold the B button, but if you do hold the B button, you'll see your opponent kind of gets knocked into the air, similar to the A version. But the reason why this version is a little bit more feasible is because you can still fast fall off of it. The C version will also hit your opponent one time without having to combo into it, but getting both of those hits will increase your combo potential 100-fold. So Seth also has a command dive. His air version is primarily used in combos because it can be super canceled or special canceled off the ground. The B version of his dive is actually a throw, like a grab. They can't really be comboed into. It's primarily used for resets. So that's just something to be cognizant of. He also has a super version, which is also a throw that can be comboed into. One of my favorite things to do is to do a luxurious combo per se, and end in the command dive, just because it gives you so much oki. You can really throw your opponent for a loop. You have so many options afterwards. One of Seth's special moves that I want to discuss is his command grab. The A version grabs the opponent on the ground, leaves him in a stunned space. The B version is an anti-air, and it pops the opponent back up into the air, which, you know, can give you a little bit of a combo option. But his super version is an invincible reversal and gives you the option to combo after it as well. It typically used mid combo as a sort of a reset if you can land close enough to your opponent. So if you stuck with me this far, I'd like to thank you. This is the first time I've done something like this, so I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes. If you have any criticism, I'd love to hear anything you have to say. I plan on showing off like some practical application of the combos in motion in my next video. So if you'd like to see more content like this, a little bit more in depth or with a different character that you enjoy, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you feel inclined. Just let me know one way or the other, because, you know, I'm just trying to play fighting games that I love, and help out and entertain just like I've been helped out and entertained. So thanks for watching. Peace.